What can foraging do for you? Why would you even want to walk around looking at plants, especially when you live in a city? You can just be looking at plants and it becomes this departure point for all kinds of engagement in the world around you. Foraging is totally free, and to be foraging, you don't even have to be harvesting anything. I wrote an entire book about foraging for fruit because it was something I became so passionate about. It's the Fruit Forager's Companion. It is a foraging guide with recipes. Why did I become specifically interested in foraging for fruit? Well, fruit's pretty easy to figure out, right? Greens, mushrooms, whoosh. But fruit's fruit. We all know what fruit is. We know what apples are. And these plants, they become kind of like a talisman for your journey through your space and how you engage with it and how you engage with other people. And it's this little entry for nature into your life, even though you might be living in the city. And once you start recognizing different plants, it's like the entire world is this scavenger hunt, and it's so exciting. Anytime I buy a jar of spices now, I think about how that got to me. We're so separated from our products in life. We're so separated from where our food comes from, especially if you're not anywhere near where it's growing, right? So I value the work that goes into my food getting to me so much more because of my foraging. So maybe I only forage enough to, garnish the salad with some violets. But if you've ever picked violets, that actually takes a little while. And then you have to pull off all the stems. And they don't really taste like that much, but they're beautiful. So they add this great quality to your life because you have this time and this quality of time. Foraging is a privilege. It is a choice. Have you ever heard a word you didn't know before? And then you hear it like 5 times in one day? Has that ever happened to you? You're like, wait, how could I have never heard this word in my entire life, and now I'm hearing it everywhere? The same thing can happen when you start recognizing plants. So this is a cookbook, and it also talks about grocery store foraging, and that's when I get discounted produce. A lot of the fruits in here are just regular fruits that people would grow on ornamental trees. So I've got some really wacky fruits like the barberries, but there's also fruit that you are completely familiar with. And you can start with familiar fruits and then go to the wacky ones. It's this wonderful little chain of events. I've got fermentation tips, I have harvesting tips, food preservation tips, ideas about what to do with a small harvest, which is pretty likely in the city, and a big harvest. And I would just encourage all of you, even if you don't forage at any point in your life, you can discover something that's for you what foraging was for me. It just opened up this whole world and this whole new way of thinking, and you never know when it's going to happen, but I hope in your life you find a thing that just makes you feel empowered and delighted and costs you nothing and gives you everything.